All right. So now this chapter. Okay. First question is like this chapter is made for whom? Maybe you are thinking that so it is the laws are definitely for the lawyers or maybe the advocates or we are studying also so maybe it is made for us law students but I want to tell you no guys ये चैप्टर किन लोगों के लिए बनाया गया था कोई अंदाजा है आप लोगों को नॉर्मल पीपल बिल्कुल नहीं बेटा actually this chapter is not a chapter it's a training module it's what training module but this training module for whom so guys it is for those people who are selected and appointed as the judges in various courts in various courts okay and tell me one thing that is it possible that whatever law is written no matter when it was written recently or maybe the long back is it quite possible that the same rule may have the double interpretations dual interpretations in fact sometimes situation to situation wise interpretation needs to be changed yes or no so as being the judge during that situation how you should approach what you should think first of all what you should think if that is not working then what you should take if that is not working then what you should take if that is also not working then what you should take like this hierarchy like this priorities like this ranks must have to be provided yes or no so what the people have done is like all those who were the previous judges or let's say very much experienced advocates in the court what they did is based on their experience they wrote a lot of literatures a lot of books and they have given certain sets of principles that if you are sitting on the chair of the judge and some cases are coming before you what should be your mentality what should be your approach how you should tackle those cases they have given a lot of guidance notes and ICAI what they have done is like they have taken those guidance notes they compiled and now we have the chapter called interpretation of statutes अब हमारे पास ये चैप्टर है interpretation of statutes so ultimately these all are the advices let me tell you advices suggestions not laws that means I can say that you should but I cannot say you shall at the end of the day it is in the hands of the judge how to proceed and if you don't like my rulings fine you have the right to appeal to the higher courts भाई किसी और बड़ी सी कोर्ट में चले जाओ क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है तो ये किन लोगों के लिए है जो कोर्ट में एज ए जज प्रैक्टिस करना चाहते हैं ये उन लोगों के लिए है समझ में आई मेरी बात now certain principles you should understand in fact this chapter was made for the judges but the people who are getting the most benefits out of this chapter are the advocates because once you understand how judge has to rule the case don't you think it becomes very much easy for you to judge the case आपके लिए बेहद आसान हो जाएगा केस को जज करना क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है चलिए बहुत सारी बातें हो गई लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई दिस चैप्टर इज इंपॉर्टेंट why this chapter is important okay let me discuss in this first of all what is the lawful structure judicial structure of this country तो आप समझिए बेटा दैट यहाँ पे हम पब्लिक लोग हैं are you getting my point public appoints I would say they're representatives that's called the people's representative either they can be MLAs or they can be MPs members of parliaments these people are making the laws in the parliament obviously parliament plus president's sign above that Above that, there is code of this land, and you can say Supreme Court also. Supreme Court also. Court of the land, Supreme Court. My question to you is, if I compare the Parliament versus the Supreme Court, which one is superior? क्या लगता है आपको? Which one is superior? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट? ऐसा नहीं है. अब देखिए ये क्वेश्चन जरा ध्यान रखना आप लोग. सुप्रीम कोर्ट वर्सेस पार्लियामेंट, विच वन इज सुपीरियर? सो आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज बोथ आर एट पैरेलल. इन दोनों के ऊपर एक और चीज आती है बेटा, उसका नाम क्या है? आई थिंक एग्जैक्टली स्पर्श. ये तूने बहुत बड़ी बात बोली. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, भारत का बंधारण, भारत का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ओके, सो इन द इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ द स्टैट्यूट्स, अब मेन चीज क्या है? वट एवर लॉज आर मेड इन दिस कंट्री, वट एवर लॉज आर मेड, ओके, हु मेक्स द लॉज? पार्लियामेंट. Are you getting me? That should be within the powers of the constitution. I think the same concept you might have done during your CA foundation while you have done the Companies Act. What is the constitution of the company? Can I say memorandum of association? Read with articles of association. So you might have been explained that in case the company is doing some transactions which are inconsistent or against the provisions of the memorandum of association, then explain what are the consequences. Can I say the consequences are, it becomes void of an issue. No court of this country can enforce this. So guys, what if you have made some laws? Look, I'm challenging the laws. Parliament has not passed some laws. President of this country has signed it. They are also published to the people also. But what if guys those laws are inconsistent to the constitution? So guys, if some of the laws are challenged, that some of the constitutional rights are violated, Supreme Court comes to the picture. And they will analyze that whether laws are according to the constitution or not. Interpretation of the language is within the constitutional soul or not. So guys, if it is within the constitution, Supreme Court of this country cannot reject the laws of parliaments. But if it is against, yes guys, no matter it was passed by the government of India, it has the right to nullify the effect of that particular act. They will treat it just like it's void. Anything what is inconstitutional is void. People of this country don't need to follow it. कोई करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, कोई करने की जरूरत नहीं है आपको. So guys, let me tell you, the highest body, highest authority is the constitution, and that's for anyone who wants to become the lawyer in his field. I would always recommend that they should have thorough knowledge of Constitution of India. But let me tell you guys, the things are not as easy as we are thinking, because when the laws are getting passed into the parliament, it contains a lot of ambiguous language. Lot of what? कल ही मैंने आपको एक बात बताई थी, याद करो, सेक्शन 141 सबसेक्शन 3 क्लॉज डी में हम लोगों ने एक बात पढ़ी थी, सी में शायद. मैंने आपको कहा था कि दैट इफ एम्प्लॉयज पार्टनर्स एम्प्लॉय, लाइक आप समझ रहे हो, मैंने आपको बताया था होल्डिंग कंपनी. अरे ये वाला एग्जांपल यार, ये देखो, कौन सा था वो एग्जांपल? हाँ, ये वाला एग्जांपल याद आई कुछ? Yesterday I did this. Company A is the holding company. B is what? Subsidiary company. Paras is the employee over there, but Bhavna is the partner of Paras. Can she be appointed as the auditor of the company A? Clarity was not there. Answer to that question comes yes, but logic wise, the object was, I think it's supposed to be no, because come on guys, it is not matching your objectives. Are you getting me? So if these kinds of disputes are coming as being the judge, आपको कैसे react करना है? क्या आपको ये allowed करना है, आपको disallowed करना है? What is your thought process? So here whatever suggestions are given, this is just like a guidance notes. Guidance note. चलो बाकी बातें बाद में होगी, अब सीधे कहानियों पे आते हैं, केसेस पे आते हैं. I told you my dear students that in interpretation of statutes, the highest authority is what? Constitution of this country. If laws are made within the constitution, no matter how they are, no matter how they are, Supreme Court or no court of this country can challenge it. I want to tell you that long back in Dhanbad एक case हुआ था. What happened? There was a girl, okay, and at one day she was going to the college. So some rowdies like people of the village just to try to tease her, and she couldn't tolerate this, and therefore she slapped one of the boys, and his ego got hurt. At the same night, when everybody, in the village in North India, there's a tradition or custom that everybody used to sleep on the terrace, like because during summer it's too much heat and AC नहीं चाहिए, naturally वो terrace के ऊपर छत पे सो जाते हैं वहाँ पे. So that boy and his friends went to there and threw acid on that girl's face. Can you imagine? I think Bollywood later on made a movie also on that. Movie का नाम क्या था? Chapak. Deepika Padukone, I think, played a fantastic. Look, at the left hand side, what you can see is Deepika, and she is the real girl. That is also, I would say, okay, this was the real face, and this was the after acid attack. आप डिफरेंस देख सकते हो. ये भी कई सारी प्लास्टिक सर्जरी के बाद आया है भाई. जब शुरू में हुआ होगा, ये देखिए, दिस इज हाउ द थिंग्स आर गोइंग ऑन. 2005, 2005, 2009, and now in 2019. Good, but look at this face and this face. The mirror will haunt you यार. इससे खतरनाक चीज क्या हो सकती है? आप अपने आप को अपने मिरर में नहीं देख सकते, और हम अपने फेस को कितना प्यार करते हो हमें कोई पता है. कम हो यार, पर्सनालिटी. सुबह चश्मा ऐसा करना, ये फ्रेम लेनी, हेयर स्टाइल कैसे करनी. तो इस बच्चे के साथ क्या हुआ? ओके, मुझे उसमें नहीं जाना. मेरा एक ही पॉइंट है. द पीपल हु आर द मॉन्स्टर्स, राइट, हु जस्ट gone for this acid attack. She belongs to, I would say, धनबाद. उस लड़के के ऊपर एसिड अटैक हुआ. अकॉर्डिंग टू यू, इफ यू वर द जज, how would you have reacted? Like, that means what punishment you would give to those monsters who didn't think for once before doing this? क्या सजा दोगे उसे? क्या सजा दोगे? Let's say you are the judge. Maybe you are thinking, sir, इनको तो जेल में डाल दो, लाइफ टाइम imprisonment. Yes or no? Because they have ruined the life of one innocent girl in the village. Yes or no? But do you know, guys, when this matter went to the court, police definitely arrested all those goons and put them behind the bars. But after 3 months, they got released on bail. They got? And what was the argument? These people of the village, no matter whatever they had done, they didn't have any criminal backgrounds. Whatever was done, that was just the reaction of that slap. All of them belongs to a very prestigious family. So please grant them the bail. They are not hardcore trained criminals. So court granted the bail. Can you just imagine, the girl is in the village, those people are also in the village. Every day she is observing that those people are moving in the village just like here and there. But उसके दिल पे क्या असर होगा? How would she have felt? In front of her eyes, those goons are roaming here to there and there to here. Okay, guys, maybe you're thinking it's heartless, this is not justice. Who says the courts are making justice? They should make the justice, but they have also some restrictions, and that restrictions are the lawful provisions. Can judges go beyond the lawful provisions? If in the law it is written that maximum punishment is 6 months for this crime, can you announce 1 year? Can you announce 2 years? So guys, let me tell you, if you want me to discuss this, that what is the real definition of the court of this country, they are just interpreters of the law. In that particular situation, in that particular case, how best the law should be interpreted, ये काम किस लोगों का है? कानून का है. तो देखो, हमारे पे एक बात है, जब ये बात आ गई तो यू मस्ट lawful provisions, lawful provisions, knowledge. With that, you should have the knowledge of the constitution also. With that, you must have the knowledge of this chapter also, so that you can understand that what is the mentality of the judges. Okay, I do not want to create much more mystery. Let's directly come to this point. Let's directly come to this point. What's written over here? External aids. Sorry, not external aids. Sorry. Come to this. The rules of the interpretation and construction. देखो यहाँ पे कुछ rules दिए हुए literal, reasonable and something like that. Rule number 1 क्या है कि every judge. Okay, I do not want to go much in detail. आप थोड़ा basic समझ लो. Every judge, first of all, have to interpret the law the way it is written. Don't try to apply any logic. जैसे लिखा है वैसे ही आपको इंटरप्रेट करना है. If it makes sense, for example, it is written that for this punishment maximum is 10 years, तो आपको 10 years ही देना है. Are you getting my point? You can't go beyond 10 years. So this is called the literal interpretation. Please follow the way it is written. Second, it is written the reasonable interpretation. What do you mean by reasonable? When literal interpretation doesn't make sense. Sometimes that's a question. Under what circumstances? Under what circumstances reasonable interpretation comes to the picture? So when literal interpretation is not making the sense, we have to go for reasonable. And that advice is given to the judges. Look, if this question comes to your exam, like what example you will write in? मैं आपको सीधी सी बात बताता हूँ. एग्जाम्पल आपको पता है सेक्शन 105 प्रॉक्सी हमने पढ़ा था. प्रॉक्सी कैन नॉट स्पीक इन बिटवीन द मीटिंग, बट इसका लिटरल इंटरप्रिटेशन करो. डज इट मेक सेंस? ही कांट टॉक. व्हाट इफ ही वांट्स टू गो टू सम इमरजेंसी वॉशरूम और समथिंग लाइक. ये शायद मैंने उस वक्त भी बोला था. आई ट्राई टू से ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम आल्सो. डिड आई? सो टेल मी हियर लिटरल इंटरप्रिटेशन इज approachable or reasonable interpretation is approachable? Reasonable में जाना है हम लोगों को. Do you understand कि situation to situation wise the judges are advised that if this is the situation, go for literal. This is the situation, then go for reasonable. Okay, remaining I don't want to discuss now. I'm just telling you how this chapter is made. बात समझ में आई आप लोगों को? चलिए हम एक केस डिस्कस करते हैं. This case belongs to the state of Kerala. केरला. देखो उस केस का मैं आपको नाम बताऊं. यहाँ पे काफी फेमस केस है. Just a minute. Look, if I just write the decriminalization of the section 497, as you can check it over here, lot of provisions are there. Lot of provisions are there. Okay, I want to tell you guys what was the story in this. What was the story in this? Okay? Look at what happened that when you read the section 497, पहले उसको पढ़ लो आप लोग. What is section 497 of the Indian Penal Code? ठीक है? All right. क्या लिखा है पारस? देखो बेटा. According to section 497 of the Indian Penal Code, this is what exactly the word written here. Whosoever has sexual intercourse with a person who is and whom he knows or has reason to believe to be the wife of another man, without the consent or connivance of that man, such a sexual intercourse not amounting to the offense of rape. तो ये rape नहीं है, but he is guilty of the offense of adultery and shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 5 years, or with the fine, or both. In such case, the wife shall not be punishable as an abettor. अब आप ये कहेंगे सर नहीं समझ में हुआ क्या. देखो एक सीधी सी बात बताना चाहता हूँ. लॉ ये कहता है 497, in fact still 497 is there. Let's say guys, one person is making the intercourse with a woman with having the knowledge that she is the wife of somebody else, and that relation she has made without the consent of her husband, then this is the punishable under the charges of adultery, and he may be punished for the maximum imprisonment of 5 years. That's what this section 497 is trying to say. So this actually section came to the force in the year of 1860, because it was made by Lord Macaulay. Entire Indian Penal Code in 1860, whatever was made, it was made by Macaulay. अब हुआ क्या, अब समझो guys, if husband comes to know that his wife has the affair with somebody else, can he tolerate? Definitely he will try to take the definition of relief of 497, and he will try to make that man go behind the bars for maximum 5 years. So in the Kerala, what happened, there was the same story. Husband just found that his wife is cheating on him, and he started gathering certain evidences, and he also found that yes, somebody is there, and some evidences are there, hotel footages, room के कुछ footages, ये सब उसको मिले, कुछ photographs ऐसा कुछ मिला, and that man filed the case on that boyfriend of the wife. वाइफ के ऊपर आप नहीं कर सकते, लिखा है लॉ में, यू कांट टेक द एक्शन अगेंस्ट, लेकिन किसके ऊपर केस कर दिया? उस बॉयफ्रेंड पे. मैटर वेंट टू द आई वुड से केरला हाई कोर्ट, एंड केरला हाई कोर्ट अनाउंस्ड द पनिशमेंट ऑफ द 5 years, 497. बट देयर वाज वन लॉयर, ठीक है, इन द केरला हाई कोर्ट, हु चैलेंज्ड दिस डिसीजन ऑफ द केरला हाई कोर्ट इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट. अब आप मुझे बताओ गाइस, इज देयर एनी सब्सटेंस रिमेन इन द केस? क्या केस में कुछ बचा है? एविडेंसेस है, रिलेशन है, प्रूव भी हो चुका है. इनफैक्ट द वाइफ एडमिटेड, इनफैक्ट द बॉय एडमिटेड दैट यस वी हैड, यस और नो, एवरीथिंग वाज देयर. इज देयर एनीथिंग लेफ्ट इन द केस? नथिंग. सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पहला क्वेश्चन ये पूछा, व्हाई यू आर हियर? Section 497 evidences, whatever we have reviewed, it is crystal clear that yes, that boy deserves to get the punishment of 5 years. Nothing wrong is done by the High Court. Mr. Lawyer, why you are here? आप यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो? And another important question, and let me tell you guys, ये जो question हुआ था 2016 में हुआ था, and do you know who was the man who asked this question? D.Y. Chandrachud, who is now CJI. CJI means Chief Justice of India. Chief Justice of India. सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो चीफ जज होता है ना, उसको सीजीआई बोलते भाई. उन्होंने कहा कि तुम कर क्या रहा है? 497 में ठीक तो लिखा है सब कुछ. ऑन व्हाट बेसिस यू आर डिमांडिंग रिलीफ? दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. क्या वर्ड मैंने पूछा? ऑन व्हाट बेसिस यू आर डिमांडिंग द रिलीफ? On what basis you are demanding the relief? And look at my dear students, the argument what is raised here now. He said, my lord, I agree. 497 कहता है that whosoever has sexual intercourse with a person who is and whom he knows or has reason to believe to be the wife of another man. I agree, my lord, that this fellow has made a relation with the wife of somebody else. But my lord, you read further, it is written that without the consent or connivance of that man. My lord, 497 doesn't prohibit anyone to make the relation. What is the prohibition is, why didn't you take the consent of husband? तो आप समझो, रिलेशन बनाना गुनाह नहीं है. Relation without the consent of the husband, it's a crime. My lord, Article 5 and 25, whatever you read, it is clearly mentioned that every citizen in this country has a right to live, and right to live provides him the right of independence and freedom, and these two rights also includes the right of privacy. My lord, my simple point is, every human, once he becomes major, once he becomes major, has the right to choose that to whom he should love, to whom he should not love. Marriage doesn't mean that it can take away your personal liberty. अरे हाँ है ना? So my lord, you are saying here that you can do, but with the consent of the husband. Isn't it the right of privacy? Isn't it the violation of the right of privacy? Isn't it the violation of the right of freedom? Isn't it the violation of the right to leave? So, my lord, this section is so derogatory written, it is making the woman as assets of the man. My lord, which is not according to the constitution of this country. But how was the argument? Just think on this part. क्या इस सेंटेंस से आप वुमन को मैन की स्लेव नहीं बना रहे हो? रिलेशन बना सकते हो, बनाने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, वो गुनाह नहीं है, कंसेंट क्यों नहीं लिया? And another my argument is, what's the wrong they have made? Both of them are major. With the consent they have made the relation ना, एक दूसरे की consent से relation बनाए हैं, which is the pure right given in the constitution of this country. What's the wrong in that, my lord? I know the husband may be thinking like, fine, he got betrayed, तो उसको divorce का provision मिलना चाहिए according to the law. You know, marriage is a contract. You know that, right? Marriage क्या है? Sparsh, what is marriage? It's a contract. So guys, you know, according to the Indian Contract Act, once two people are joining together, separation is not easy. Because let's say you're breaching the contract without the consent of others, you have to compensate. You have to compensate the claim to the other one. That's what we have learned in the Indian Contract Act. Yes or no? But what if both of them are breaching, or let's say they want to finish the contract with the mutual understanding then? तो ध्यान रखो, म्यूचुअली अगर आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तोड़ते हो तो कोई कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं देना है. दैट्स कॉल्ड द ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, और रादर आई वुड से फिनिशिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, एंडिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, डिस्चार्जिंग द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बाय म्यूचुअल एग्रीमेंट. नो नीड टू पे एनीथिंग. अरे हाँ ना? So guys, without the consent of others, you do not have right to end up the contract. But there are certain circumstances. There are certain circumstances where you are allowed to step out from the contract, even if there is no mutual agreement. First is the impossibility. First is what? Impossibility. आपको पढ़ाया गया होगा. If contract is not getting performed due to mistakes of others, so this situation, if you are not performing your commitment, law will not punish you on that part. So same way, it is proved that wife is characterless. Yes or no? So without any condition, husband has the right to demand what? Divorce. क्या है? आपने कभी सोसाइटी में सुना होगा that divorce cases are pending before the civil court for the 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Yes or no? Because husband wants to take the divorce, wife is not giving. Wife wants to take the divorce, husband is not giving. Why? It's a contract. And the point is, if you are giving the divorce without the consent of others, you have to pay what? The compensation. Nobody likes that. But if you prove that one of the parties was betraying to him or her, or they are characterless, unconditionally क्या मिलेगा आपको? Divorce मिलेगा. क्या मिलेगा? No settlement money, no alumni money, nothing you need to pay. Directly you will get the divorce. So fine, here why did you treat this as the unconditional divorce, and why you are making this the 5 years jail to somebody else? उसकी गलती क्या था? अगर बॉलीवुड की लैंग्वेज में कहूँ तो उसे प्यार किया था, इतनी गलती थी उसकी. Constitutional bench of the Supreme Court of this country got impressed by this argument. They reviewed all the provisions and they said, yes, भाई बात तो सही है. You can make the relation, but you have to take what? Consent of the husband. It is clearly कि भाई there is no objection on the adultery. Objection is on the consent, and just because of that, we are treating the woman as the one of the objects of the man, which can't be tolerated, because in Indian constitution, guys, man and woman both are treated as equal. They have equal rights. So yes, it is the violation of the constitution of this country. So guys, the practice of 160 years, guys, because this is 497. You understand? 1860 to 2016. Every court was practicing this. First time in the history, Supreme Court of this land judged that 497 is there, but now it is decriminalized. Decriminalized का मतलब क्या हुआ? First of all, there was a criminal liability of maximum 5 years. Now guys, that 5 years imprisonment wala part is eliminated, fine part is eliminated. Now the maximum remedy what husband has is unconditional divorce. That's all. बेटा इसे कहते हैं इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ स्टैट्यूट. कानून को इंटरप्रेट कैसे करना. Mathu, I hope you are understanding. And in fact, I want to tell you the lawyer who, मुझे नहीं पता कि वो कौन थे, अगर मैं आपको बताऊं. Husband is not a master of wife. Supreme Court strikes down 158. Read with the 150-year-old section 497, and this came into 26 September 2018. Guys, कितना खूबसूरत कॉन्सेप्ट है. आप समझो यहाँ पे 160 ईयर की ओल्ड. अब देखो बेटा, जो लोग जेल में गए थे फॉर द 5 years, उनका क्या? बिकॉज दे वेंट फॉर दोज क्राइम्स जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली वैलिड ही नहीं था. उनकी जिंदगी तो स्पर्श रात को सोया नहीं ठीक से. क्या? या नो इशू. ठीक है. Okay guys, and look, I'm just reading this. The Supreme Court has struck down the 150 years old section 497 of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalizes the adultery as unconstitutional. Any provision of the law affecting individual dignity and equality of women invites wrath of the Constitution. It's the time to say that husband is not the master of legal sovereignty of one sex over the other sex is wrong. Read out Chief Justice Mishra from that. So Mr. CJI was the part of that rulings, and guys, I would say, okay, I do not want to go much in detail, लेकिन बाकी का पार्ट आप खुद पढ़ लेना अगर आपको करना है. Who was the lawyer, केस का नाम क्या था, वो सब आप पढ़ लेना. बट क्या अगर ये बात समझ में आई, एक और मैं केस आपको समझाता हूँ, एक और केस समझाता हूँ. Law says that first of all you have to go with the literal interpretation. If it is not making sense or it has more than one meaning, then you have to go to reasonable. But still nothing is working out. Let's say literal interpretation is not making sense. Reasonable interpretation is also not making sense. Then law ये कहता है कि you have to go to the beneficial construction. Beneficial means you have to understand that for what benefit this provision was made. Means guys, here you have to look at the object of the lawmaking, not the text. What was the object to make these laws? And trust me guys, if the judges got convinced over here, they can take the liberty in the text. Liberty stands for what? They can go beyond the text of the law. अब आप कहेंगे सर समझ में नहीं आया, एक केस सुनाना चाहता हूँ. What happened in Britain? There is one case named Prevention of the Street Offences. Prevention of Street Offences Act. Okay, maybe now it is the Immoral Traffic Act, or earlier it was just a second. Look at this. It is written over here. Street Offences Act, और उसमें लिखा है prostitution. अब यही केस मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ. देखिए यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन ये 1950 Street Offences Act. वहाँ की एक बात है, स्टोरी है. Can you see this? अब देखो क्या हुआ था कि ब्रिटेन में एक एक्ट है जिसका नाम क्या है भाई, बताओ. द स्ट्रीट ऑफेंसेस एक्ट. ठीक है. So any offense what is happening on the street, like pickpockets, robbery, beating, abusing someone. Are you getting me? So for that they have come up with this act. All this one, when they see there's a good gathering and start disturbing that gathering by provoking or by any reason. तो law एक ही बात कहता है that under this Prevention of the Street Offences Act, under what? The Prevention of the Street Offences Act, such people, such culprits are punishable. अब हुआ यूं कि there was one अपार्टमेंट, लेट मी टेल यू, एक पूरा अपार्टमेंट था. अज्यूम गाइस, ये जो है ना, एक पूरा अपार्टमेंट है. इन दिस अपार्टमेंट, दिस फ्लोर वाज गिवन टू अ रेंट टू अ लेडी. एक लेडी को ये अपार्टमेंट दिया गया, ठीक है. फर्दर व्हाट हैपेंड हियर इज, just close to this apartment there was a street. Assume this is the street. Are you able to see this? ये एक street है, ठीक है. Assume it is a street. People are walking on that, and this lady was a prostitute. So whosoever just walking on that, by opening the window, she was trying to solicit her. वो गंदे गंदे इशारे करके, I think you can understand that. आ जाओ, ये गंदे गंदे इशारे करके उन सबको अट्रैक्ट करने की कोशिश करते थे. नाउ इट वाज अ रेसिडेंशियल अपार्टमेंट, so other residents didn't like this. Come on guys, how can you open the window and you can invite everybody who's just walking on the street, आ जाओ. That leaves the bad impression on the minds of students, children. Yes or no? तो उन्होंने केस फाइल कर दिया उस लेडी के ऊपर, that you can't do this, and they filed the case on the Prevention of the Street Offences Act. That this is violation, you can't do this, and you would go to the jail. This is immoral practice. So what was the argument was raised from this lady's lawyer's part, and they have said to the court that, my lord, look at the title of this act. What is the title of this act? Prevention of the Street Offences. My lord, my client has nothing done anything wrong on the street. But are you getting me? My client has done nothing wrong on the street. And when nothing was done wrong on the street, how can the Prevention of the Street Offences Act is applicable to this? So this application, this appeal itself is defective. Please dismiss the case. Please dismiss the case. आप उसको dismiss कर दो. So जज ने सोचा, अब देखो एज ए जज आपकी क्या मेंटालिटी है, आपको ये बता दो कि स्टैट्यूटरी इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ स्टैट्यूट्स कैसे पढ़ा, मतलब कैसे एप्लीकेबल होता है प्रैक्टिकल में. बताओ सपोज इफ यू वर द जज, दैट हाउ वुड यू हैव रिएक्टेड? बात तो सही है, बिकॉज लॉ पहले ये कहता है यू हैव टू गो फॉर व्हाट, लिटरल इंटरप्रिटेशन. अकॉर्डिंग टू द लिटरल इंटरप्रिटेशन, that lady will get escaped out, and in fact in many cases this happens where such ladies, like such kinds of criminals, are escaped out because the judge was sticks to what? Literal interpretation. So you should have that sensibility that where to apply literal interpretation. Guys, what if literal interpretation is not delivering the justice? Should you stick to literal interpretation, or you should move on the other options what are available? Reasonable हुआ, harmonious हुआ, या फिर beneficial हुआ. Over there, but who will remind the judge? Okay, tell me, who will play with the minds of the judges? Can I say lawyers? They're the best one by speech, by conveying, by personality, by body language. So it is the job of lawyer to convince the judges कि भाई don't stick to literal, थोड़ा और broad mind से सोचो. But am I clear to all of you? So let me tell you what was the counter argument raised by the residential's advocate. He was very smart. He said, my lord, don't look at the text, but look at the object of this act. For what benefit this law was made by the parliament of this country? This act was made not to prevent only street offences, but real purpose was to prevent the public offences. What are happening on public? Which are happening in public? Yes or no? So anyway the public is getting harassed. Anyway, public is getting harassed due to immorality, due to anything. This law should be applicable. Yes or no? So main intention was just to prevent the public offences, my lord. Just because the text is used the street, because most of the public offences are happening on, they don't happen on in-house, they happen on the street. We should not stick to this word strict so strictly. And therefore, please try to understand for what benefit the law was made, for what object this law was made, and try to interpret this case not according to the literal one, but go for the beneficial construction. But are you getting me? And you know, judge got impressed by this argument. बात तो सही है यार. And come on guys, can you pressurize the government to make the separate act just for this stupid mistake in the law? A lot of people are getting affected. So by this argument, you know, the court was very much impressed, and they delivered the judgment stating that yes, भाई बात तो सही है, she, even if she was not present on the street, but ultimately it is immoral act in public, yes or no? She must have to vacate the apartment, and she was punished according to the Street Offences Act. So guys, this is why this chapter is important. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपको इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे करना है. Are these cases clear in everyone's mind? तो हमने कई सारी कहानियां पढ़ी हैं, and still lot of things we have to understand in this. Okay, now I hope guys with this you all are clear with I would say the concept. आपको कंसेप्ट समझ में आ गई बात? बिफोर आई गो टू द कंसेप्ट, बिफोर आई गो टू द टाइप्स ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन, आई वुड लाइक टू गो विद द इंटरप्रिटेशन वर्सेस कंस्ट्रक्शन. ये हम पहले पढ़ लेते हैं एक बार. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय इंटरप्रिटेशन वर्सेस कंस्ट्रक्शन? इंटरप्रिटेशन वर्सेस कंस्ट्रक्शन, ठीक है. तो इसकी हम कहानी पढ़ लेते हैं बच्चा. इंटरप्रिटेशन वर्सेस कंस्ट्रक्शन. इंटरप्रिटेशन मीन्स ट्राई टू फाइंड द interpretation meaning within what is given. So try to understand. There are two types of searches, two types of search. देखो, first search is here, something what is already given, you are trying to get the answer from this. But tell me guys, if answers are not obtained by searching this field, you have to cross the boundary. अरे बोलो भाई, अरे यार समझ में आ रहा है? यू हैव टू गाइस, अगर कुछ चीजें यहां से नहीं मिलती तो कंपल्सरीली आपको इसकी बाउंड्रीज के बाहर ढूंढना पड़ेगा. आर यू गेटिंग मी? सो देखो, दो इंटरप्रिटेशन हो रहे हैं. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से गाइस, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द आंसर्स फ्रॉम हियर, बट इफ इट इज नॉट making out, you have to find it from here. If interpretation is obtained within this circle, it is interpretation. Are you getting me? But it is not sufficient, and you're crossing the boundary of the language of the law, and you're trying to create something what is not mentioned in the law so far, then this becomes construction. तो चलो हम इसको समझते हैं. एक कहानी से हम इस बात को समझते हैं. अब एक सेकंड रुको. Just a second. एक सेकंड रुकना, एक सेकंड. All right, fine, maybe I have to find it out. But हम बता दो इसमें क्या हुआ था. एक केस हुआ था के रखू करके, लॉन्ग बैक, एंड दिस के रखू केस is about the section 30T2, what is talking about the punishment for the murder. Punishment for what? Punishment for what? The murder. अब ये क्या कहानी थी हम समझते हैं. Guys, do you want to take a small break before I start? एक छोटा सा ब्रेक लेना चाहोगे आप? ले लो उसके बाद हम कहानी. बट आर यू गेटिंग द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ व्हाई दिस चैप्टर इज इंपॉर्टेंट? इन पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन लॉ को कैसे इंटरप्रेट करना है, ये चैप्टर उसके बारे में कहता है. ठीक है, थोड़ा ब्रेक ले लो, उसके बाद कंटिन्यू करेंगे. थैंक यू.